how to make more money than 99% of people. Most people think that to make more money, you need to work longer hours, buy more courses, try new strategies, but that's just not the case. That's just what 99% of people are doing. But if you really want to make fuck you money, you need to stop doing what the 99% are doing and start doing what the top 1% are doing. So in this video, I'm going to show you the secret that the top 1% uses to make as much money as possible and how you can apply it immediately. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do to finally start making the money that you want. Here's why you should even listen to me. I made multiple six figures at 18 years old. I've got a YouTube channel with over 2 million subscribers. I've spent more than 10,000 hours studying money and psychology, which makes me an expert on it. And I've been coached directly by some of the biggest entrepreneurs on the internet, including Nero Knowledge, William Brown, and Charlie Morgan. So to start off, here's why working harder and trying new strategies are not the way to go. Logically would make a lot of sense that spending more hours on your business would earn you more money, right? I mean, you dedicate more time, the law of averages kicks in, and you have more opportunities. But what if you're a bartender? You could work a 40-hour shift if it's a weekend, but no matter how hard and how long you kept working, it would never be possible to make more than a few $1,000s in a single day. There's nothing wrong with being a bartender, but there are celebrities and entrepreneurs making their yearly salary working 2 hours a week. They could take an entire month off and still have six figures coming in. Meanwhile, a bartender could come in every single day that month and barely make 1% of what the celebrity earns. The point is, hard work and strategy is not the number one contributing factor to making more money. So what is it that really sets apart these people who are able to make so much more money so easily? Here's the real difference. And I'm going to use Michael Jackson as an example. He was a worldwide sensation when he was 5 years old. He was the front man of the Jackson 5. Everyone knew his face, they knew his voice, and that's what set him up to become the biggest pop star of all time. But not in the way that you might think. You're probably thinking this means, oh, well, it was easier for him because he was already in the industry as a kid, or he already had all the right connections. Those things might have contributed, but they're not what really fueled his success. What fueled his success was the fact that all these things, the fame, the wealth, the creativity, they were already normal to him. He didn't perceive these as grand luxuries that most people do because he already experienced it. Since he already knew what it felt like to be rich and to be famous, it was just easy for him. And yes, Michael Jackson did work extremely hard and put all of his energy into his music, but there are plenty of musicians who put in just as much work as he does and get nowhere. The reason success was so easy for Michael Jackson was because he had accepted the idea of success as normal. And if you want to make more money, you need to convince yourself that the amount of money that you want to make is already normal. The problem is that your current reality is what you consider normal. I mean, how long have you been stuck at your current income level? A couple weeks? A couple months? A couple years? If that's the case, struggling to make money is normal to you. This process of trying to make more money, learning new tactics, buying courses, it's something you've been doing for so long that it just feels routine for you. You're used to this idea of wanting more money and trying to get it, but because of this, you don't actually get it. The longer you're in a certain situation, the more normal it becomes to you. And the more normal it feels, the more likely it is to play out in your reality. If making $100,000 a month or whatever your revenue goal was felt normal to you, don't you think you'd be making it already? And you might be thinking, no, once I'm making $100,000 a month, then it'll feel normal to me. But that's the paradox. If you want to make that much money, why shouldn't it just feel normal to you now? It just comes down to confidence. When something is normal to you, you have confidence that it's going to happen. You don't just believe it's going to happen. It's not that you believe all this hard work and effort will make you money. You just know that you're making that amount of money. And confidence, it's not this crazy thing you have to feel like you're on top of the world or have tons of power or something. It literally just means you know it's going to happen. And again, here's the difference between believing and knowing. If you flick on a light switch, you don't just believe it's going to turn on. You know it's going to turn on because it's normal to you. You have confidence that that light switch is going to turn on unless the light bulb is dead. But let's not go there. Imagine a guy who's really good at meeting women. Any night he goes out to a bar, he knows that someone is going to come back to his house, to the point that it would be odd if somebody didn't. And then you've got guys who can hardly get girls to talk to him, let alone go home with him. Do things like attractiveness play a role in this? Maybe. But the fact is, an ugly guy who's confident talking to girls is going to have a lot more success than an extremely attractive guy who can't even look her in the eye. And you just have to become confident in earning your desired income. The first thing to understand about developing confidence is that you already have it. It's just misplaced. You are confident in making the amount of money that you're making right now, whatever that amount is. If you weren't, then you wouldn't be making it. You can be confident in the fact that you're not confident, and as a result, you won't be confident. One way you can develop confidence in the moment is just to think of something you're already confident about. Like what I said earlier, turning on a light. Think about how you know that when you flick on a light switch, the light's going to turn on. What does that feel like? It's probably pretty basic, right? You're just like, yeah, it'll turn on. I mean, obviously. Exactly. Like, it's so obvious to the point that it's almost stupid, right? Like, obviously, you hit that light switch, the light's going to go on. It should be that obvious to you that you're making the amount of money that you want. Next time you're working, don't think, I need to do whatever it takes to make sure that I make more money. Just say, I know I've already made this money, and just feel that same feeling. But how do you build more confidence at a root level? I mean, people who naturally make money don't have to consciously make themselves think confident thoughts. They just think the right thoughts automatically. So how do you get to this point where you make the money you want without even having to think about it? This comes down to something known as frequency. But what's frequency? I mean, is that just some woo-woo nonsense? And how is that going to help you make money? So I want you to think of your frequency like it's a radio station. If you're tuned in to classic rock, you're going to get classic rock music. If you're tuned in to pop, you'll get pop music. And if you're tuned into country, you should probably change the station. Whatever station you're tuned into is going to determine the music that you hear. And whatever frequency you're tuned into will determine the thoughts that you hear. Michael Jackson is a perfect example for this too. He didn't become a global sensation because he wrote hits like Billie Jean, Thriller, or Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. He wrote those hits because he was already tuned in the frequency of being a global sensation. I mean, he literally describes his music writing process as divine. You know, he said that the music just came into his head already finished, and all he had to do was tell the musicians which notes to play. And the reason these songs came to him so easily was because he was in the right frequency. Someone who doesn't see themselves as a successful musician will never be able to create music the way that he did. I mean, sure, they could probably make some good songs, but it would be through brute force and trying and struggle, whereas for Michael Jackson, the music just came to him so naturally. This exact process can be extrapolated to however much money you want to make. The frequency you're tapped into will determine how much money you earn. If your mind is aligned with the frequency of trying to make $50,000 a month, all your thoughts, all your behaviors, and all your actions will keep you stuck in that cycle of trying. You'll keep trying new tactics, trying new courses, and doing everything in the world to get there while never actually getting there. You're just perpetually trying to get there. But if your mind is aligned with the frequency of already making $50,000 a month, you will naturally have thoughts that guide you to earn that amount. When you get in the frequency of making the money you want, it's almost like the version of you who is actually making that money in whatever you want to call it, the 3D, the physical reality, metaphysical, whatever. You are going to get thoughts from the standpoint of already making money. It's not going to be, how do I do this? What do I do next to make money? It's just going to be, oh, I just do this. You won't be searching for the right things to do because you'll just be naturally compelled to do them since you're tapped into that frequency. And here's why the wrong frequency is so dangerous. If you're in the frequency of wanting or trying or lacking, you're going to have much different thoughts than someone in the frequency of having and abundance. When you're constantly stressed out about not getting what you want, your prefrontal cortex is shut off. You literally cannot make rational decisions. This means you're going to be unable to think in a way that produces results that you want. But if your subconscious mind feels like you already have what you want, you're not going to be stressed out. You'll be acting from this place of ease, and you'll be able to make calculated, strategic decisions because those are the thoughts that will come to you naturally. This is why people can study for weeks for a test and fail while they have friends who don't study at all and just get 100 on it. All their studying and their preparation, although it seemed rational in the moment, was actually coming from a place of fear. They weren't planning to pass. They were trying to avoid failing. Two very different things. But when the test finally came, those stress chemicals amped right back up and they completely forgot everything they studied. But then their friend, who didn't even bother opening a book because they just didn't care, when the test comes, nothing gets triggered. They're just completely calm and they're able to effectively access all the knowledge in their brain and fill out all the answers correctly. And the key difference was their frequency. It's not about fairness or preparation. It's about frequency. Notice I did not say anything about the material they studied or how much time they put into it or qualifications. It's just frequency. If you're in the wrong frequency when it's time to execute, none of your preparation is going to matter. So here's how to get into the right frequency. If you can change your baseline frequency to align with what you want, it's going to come to you automatically. You won't have to manage your thoughts on a regular basis because you'll just naturally think and feel in a way that aligns with what you want. You're not going to be searching for strategies or books to read because you're just going to be driven to automatically do the right thing. Baseline frequency is really just about the core emotion you feel in relation to your desires. You might be an all-around happy person, but then when you think about money, it puts you into the state of stress and anxiety. You have to reprogram your subconscious mind so that you can stay relaxed no matter what money throws at you. This goes back to what I was saying about guys who are naturally smooth with girls. Negative emotions don't interfere, and this means he can confidently walk up to a girl and just have a conversation with her. He's not always worrying about saying the right thing or making her like him. He's just being himself. As far as he's concerned, if it goes well, great. But if not, he'll be okay. This is the kind of energy that women are attracted to, and it's the same kind of energy that money's attracted to. Emotional detachment. And please, let me make one thing clear. This does not mean you don't care about the outcome, you don't care about girls, or that you're a sociopath. I'm not saying Riz is equivalent to being apathetic towards girls, and I'm not saying the only way to make money is that you have to stop caring about it, okay? What I'm saying is that you have to be emotionally independent to these things. This is a big difference and a big misconception between what emotional independence actually means. It just means you're okay with it and you're okay without it. If you need a certain amount of money to be happy, if you need a certain goal to be happy, you're going to repel them all. This needy energy is exactly what repels women. I mean, why do you think guys who are spamming and calling their dates 50 times a day end up getting blocked or they get a restraining order against them? These guys don't really care about this one girl. They've just spent so much time imagining them as their girlfriend and starting a family with them that they've pinned all hope of true love on this one random person that they met last week at a bar. The same way that a lot of people pin all their hopes and dreams on making a certain amount of money. You get way too attached and it just backs you into a corner because you get into this frequency of needing, like, I need this to happen. And you're telling yourself that you're not going to be happy until you achieve something, but that's indirectly indicating to the universe that you're not happy now. And if that thing's going to make you happy, then you're never going to be happy. I said a lot more than I meant to say there. The money you're seeking will come to you once you're good with it and you're good without it, period. But how do you reach this point? The first step in detaching from money is by coming to the understanding that it's not actually the money you're seeking. Okay? But that doesn't make sense. Why would you watch this video about how to make money if you don't want money? Well, what do you want to do with this money? Do you want to buy a house? You want to retire your parents? You want to travel the world? Good. It's none of those things either. Ask yourself, why do you want any of these things? Maybe you want to buy a house because you want to feel safe. Maybe you want to retire your parents because you want to feel satisfied that they're safe. Maybe you want to travel the world because you want to feel free. Whatever the feeling that you think this thing is going to bring you, that is what you're really after. There's some emotion you're currently blocking yourself off from, some day-to-day feeling that you want to experience that you think making this amount of money is going to bring you. If I tell you to close your eyes right now and imagine yourself chilling on a beach in the sun, just lying there, maybe you're reading a book, you're totally relaxed with no worries, it's really not that difficult to imagine, right? But do you see what just happened there? You felt the feelings of relaxing on a beach while you're not actually on the beach. The amazing thing about emotion, you don't need anything outside of you to experience it. Whatever emotion you think money is going to bring you, if you just skip all the steps in between and just feel those emotions, you're going to feel like you have the money right now. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. By imagining a scene where you're making all the money you desire, even though you know it's in your imagination, your subconscious mind will think that it's actually happening. And the more you do this, the more real it becomes and the less dependent you are on actually earning the money you want. And ironically, when you're no longer dependent on this money, that's when it finally comes to you. I mean, have you ever broken up with someone and then as soon as you get over them, that's when they text you? It's not a coincidence. It's just a result of being in the right frequency. If you woke up tomorrow and found $1 million check under your pillow, don't you think you'd be a little less worried about reaching your revenue goals? That's the point. Your goal is not the money itself. It's the feeling you think you'd have once you got this money. Because honestly, if you really did wake up and find $1 million under your pillow, yeah, for a little bit, you'd be good. You'd feel those feelings. But eventually, because your frequency never changed, you would find a way to rummage yourself right back into that hole of stressing about money, no matter how much it was. This is why lottery winners can win hundreds of $millions and still somehow manage to go broke, because their frequency never changed. And here's why being relaxed about money is so important. And I really want to dial in this point. You do not want your desired reality. You want the frequency of your desired reality. Think about it. What do most people think is going to be different when they have more money? That they'll be able to live comfortably, that their parents will stop criticizing them, that their romantic options are going to be better. It all comes back to this idea that money equals safety and love. Without realizing it, most of us unconsciously associate money with love. When we don't feel love, our brains are literally stuck in a fight or flight mode. This is because being unloved for our ancestors meant being kicked out of the tribe or literally killed off. So we associate not being loved with death. Your stress about money or not living up to what you feel is your potential, in one way or another, traces back to a fear of death. All we're trying to do here is remove the association of money with being unloved or feeling unsafe. When you've internally experienced the feelings you associate with money, you'll be more relaxed and your motivations will just change. If your desire for money is to satiate your desire for these emotions, you will make decisions from a survival state. This means you're going to try and force it. You're going to stay up for endless hours, buy a bunch of courses, invest in new strategies, all in an effort to get as much money as you can right away. Can you succeed? Sure. But again, it's not going to last. You'll burn out because even if you get the money you seek, that stress will not go away. You'll just find another way to create it because the money does not take you out of survival mode. If you've ever seen the show Billions, it's a great example. I mean, you got Bobby Axelrod, multi-billionaire, and he just keeps racking up more and more and more billions, but he's just more and more stressed out the more money he makes. And that is what always happens. I don't care if you think you're different and that won't happen to you. If you don't change your frequency, it's already happening right now. But if you already feel these feelings that you want, you'll feel more relaxed about money. Instead of trying so hard to make money, you'll just naturally have thoughts that guide you to it. I can't tell you how important that concept is, that it gets to this point where you're not worrying so much about what to do. You just know what to do. When you're anxious about money, your thinking narrows. You hesitate, you miss opportunities, and you struggle to get to the amount that you want. But when you're relaxed, your creativity increases, your pattern recognition improves, and your long-term thinking is at its peak. The fact is, relaxation will increase the amount of money you earn. So if you want to make more money, you need to become more relaxed. And here's how. People who truly feel safe are the most relaxed. And it's simply because their nervous system isn't anxiously trying to obtain any of these feelings, so there's nothing for them to stress out about. If you want to be relaxed at a baseline core level, you need to give yourself the safety and the love that you're currently lacking. But how do you do this? Well, to start off, think about how you feel about money. I mean, when you're working on your business and trying to scale and doing all these different things, how do you feel? What are you thinking about? Do you feel stressed? Are you angry? Are you scared? And then what thoughts are coming up? Are you worried that you're going to fail, that your parents are going to get mad at you, that you won't be able to pay any of your bills? Whatever it is, take due note of it. Really become aware of how you feel about money and think back. What's the earliest time in your life that you felt this way? It probably has nothing to do with money. For instance, someone might feel like they're always forcing themselves to sit down at the computer and make money and work. And if they think back, maybe there was one time as a kid where their dad forced them to do their homework. They don't realize it in the moment, but an unconscious association forms that says, I need to be forced to do work. And because they're so young, it extrapolates to everything in life, not just homework. The problem with memories this early on is that they're providing some level of proof for who you think you are and how the world around you operates. It can be anything. It probably doesn't even seem that bad, but if it in any way resembles how you feel about money, then you've found it. You're on the right track. But now, here's where the crazy part comes in. You have to change whatever this memory is for you. I know, it's crazy to believe we could even change a memory, right? You'd probably think I'm smoking something. But if I asked you, here's why it works. If I asked you your telephone number, you would know it immediately, right? That's because there's a neural pathway in your brain that specifically stores that information. But at one point, you probably had a different phone number. So how is it possible that even though you used to automatically think of that one, you now think of the new one? It's because now that that new telephone number has been repeated and cemented so many times as yours, the muscle storing the old one atrophies and you just don't associate with it anymore. Your brain does not automatically go there because you've thought about the new one so many times. You probably still know the old number, but you don't think of it as your phone number. Instead, if someone asks, what's your phone number? You immediately think of the recent one. This is the same for memories. If you deliberately imagine a new memory over and over, eventually the old one is going to be disassociated and it will no longer feel like yours. So once you have the memory, whatever memory it is in mind that you think might have formed one of your negative beliefs, just think about it for a couple seconds. And once you have, hit pause on it. Think of something that you love, a pet, a place, a thing. Ideally, it's something purely positive, nothing with a negative association like a dead dog or a relative you fight with all the time. Something or someone that you love completely unconditionally, that you've never gotten mad at, that makes you feel good feelings. Imagine hugging whatever you think of as tightly as you can and just let all the warmth and positive emotions flood through you for as long as you'd like. And once you're really in that, once you're really feeling those positive emotions, think about the old memory again, just for a second, just to see what comes up, and then go right back to the hugging the thing that you love. Go back and forth like this over and over again until that memory no longer has any negative emotional weight for you. Then imagine the scene in a new positive way. The absolute best thing that could have happened instead that would have made it so much better for your childhood self. So if your memory is being yelled at by your parents, instead, imagine them both hugging you and telling you how much they love you. So now, that memory is in you. But if you really want to cement it, replay it whenever you want to. When you're in the shower, when you're getting ready for bed, when you're watching TV. Just do it over and over again, and eventually, it will feel real to you. And if those negative associations with money are still popping up, you might have to dig around your childhood some more and find other memories to change. But eventually, once you've done this enough, you will feel like you had a completely different childhood. I'm not even kidding. And you'll already feel the emotions you're hoping money will bring you. And suddenly, it'll just start coming to you that much easier. But if you want my direct help doing this and work with me one-on-one, click the link down below. I will help you identify and remove whatever is blocking you personally from making more money in your business. Whether that means figuring out which emotions you want to feel or pinpointing the childhood memories that are currently blocking you, you will inevitably start making more money when you pinpoint your subconscious blocks. And that's exactly what I'm going to help you do.